Well, but also consider from my point of view, it's like I don't really want to be with somebody who's relying on anybody else to maintain their frame of mind. Like, and that's been a part of me for a very, 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 very long time that I probably really couldn't even explain until recently. But there's just always been something that irked me, and I think I used to quantify it as like some kind of, emotional infidelity, where he was not ever, where, the person wasn't never actually discussing any of the issues with me. They were deferring to other people and like coming back with the solution. And it's like, I definitively don't have to be controlled by someone else. And that also relates back to the concept of domination. It's like, you're not, you're not going to go solve all our problems with somebody else and expect me to just go along with it. And I also, like, if you're trying to be bonded in a relationship with somebody, you also can't even be going to somebody else to solve all your problems and expecting the person. Because I think that's, like, if there is any fucking point at all to being bonded with somebody, it's saying, like, to some extent, our lives are affected by the other. And I don't want my heart, mind, soul, life, finances, security, stability, whatever, everything that is a life that could be so intertwined and potentially reliant, but also like affected by the other life. Like, I don't want you to be making all your decisions somewhere else because it affects me. Like, and I'm definitively not paranoid for distrusting therapists, because just don't forget, man, like, I spent some time in a household with a psychologist, so I know that they're not all right all the time. And we can always just leave it at that. On the nicest, like, they are still human. They still err. They still have brain farts and bad days. And anybody can be bad at their job. Anybody can be in a bad mood. Anybody's, mind can process something incorrectly. They're the interpreter. Their internal interpretation mechanism cannot be aligned with the person that's feeding them information. Their intrinsic goals can still be very misaligned. I mean, to think that you're going to take the humanity out of a psychologist is really insulting, but it's also like you got to recognize that, like, there's still a personality using the information that they've learned and then sort of forcing it on a patient or a client or whatever. So,